All right, and welcome back to day 5 here at this exciting 2023 FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Championships here at the Whistler Olympic Park. I'm Billy DeMong, and this is my co-host Max Thompson from Canada. We're here announcing the men's Nordic Combined event, our first event this week on the ski jumps. Max, tell us a little bit about what we saw this morning, what we're about to do this afternoon.
Well, it was a phenomenal ski jump competition. It's incredibly close right now, with pretty much every nation still being competitive. We have Norway in the lead with Germany and Austria right behind them, and then a large group of 3 other nations about a minute 15 back. So it's going to be a great race.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be such a long race, 20 kilometers, probably just under an hour. It's going to be a lot of time for these teams to move around. But before we do go to the race, let's look back at the ski jumping from this morning and see some of those long jumps that were so exciting. All right, you can see right now we've got our 4th place after the ski jumping American Nicholas Malasinski. He had a jump, you can see, really nice, pretty flight, a jump of 97.5 meters. That's going to put the Americans into 4th place to start out this competition, and they're going to be starting 1 minute behind Team Norway. Again, with a 20-kilometer race, that is a time gap that is surmountable. So it's going to be interesting to see if the U.S. can get back in the fight, as we can see number 5, our German athlete, and that was Richard Stenzel. Good jump for him, 97.5 as well. They are currently tied with this Austrian team. This is Paul Walscher of Austria at Ski Club Ramsau. Really nice looking jump, one of our longest of the morning, 102 meters with a beautiful telemark. So they're tied with the Germans, 16 seconds behind our leaders, which is the Norwegian team. And you can see here the last jumper from Norway, Eider Johan Strom, on the hill. And a really nice patient jump from him. Again, really long, and another 102-meter jump for Eider Johan. That was the anchor of the Norwegian jumping team there this morning. And so now, as you can see, these athletes are preparing, warming up, getting their skis absolutely dialed, making their way to the start line, Max. It's going to be a really interesting setup with those 3 teams together and then another group of 4 teams.
Yeah, I always get excited by the chase group. So I'm curious to see if they can gain any ground on those leading 3 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 4 nations helping each other potentially at the start, all of about a minute back, it's going to be interesting to see if they can bridge that gap and get into this fight for the podium here. Again, Norway having a fantastic week in cross-country so far, taking home many of the cross-country medals. And now we're into the jumping events. It's going to be interesting to see if other nations are able to take some of these gold medals home. And, you know, I think we've got a chance today to see Germany, Austria, and maybe even the United States of America challenge Norway for the podium.
100%. I agree with you, and I can't wait to watch this race. Interesting, there was a bit of snowfall last night. I think conditions have slowed down a little bit. I think that makes for kind of more of a chance in the race for teams to come from behind right now. It's more of a factor than it would have been yesterday.
Absolutely. Well, let's go back to our field reporter, Tom. He's at the ski jumps with one of the Norwegian jumpers, Terje.
Awesome.
I'm here with Torja from Team Norway. How is it jumping in Canada for your first time?
It's been great for me. I really like this hill. The takeoff is a bit short, but the rhythm of the hill and especially the in-run I really like. And Canada's been amazing all around. The nature and everything has been a dream.
And starting the skiing first, what's your guys' strategy for the relay, or have you guys discussed that yet?
Not a lot. I'm guessing both Austria and Germany are gonna come up to us. 16 seconds is not a lot. So we will just have to wait and see when they come up and find out what to do to get the gold.
Well, Max, I love the confidence of Norway, but again, I think they acknowledged, Terry acknowledged, they've got some tough competition from Germany and Austria. We're going to be looking here at the course profile for this afternoon. Looks like there's team number 8 from Poland right now, just getting their bib on. That means we're just minutes away here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're familiar with this course, Billy, back in 2010, but we're looking at the 2.5 kilometer loop. So every athlete is going to do 2 laps to complete 5 kilometers. So it's essentially a 20 kilometer race between four athletes. You can see the elevation profile. Leads off with a pretty decent climb. Yeah, Billy, you have some insight. I think this is the one that you won gold on.
Yeah, that's a big first climb. It really, you know, after the first lap, we'll start to see like how these athletes really are fitness-wise on the second time up that big hill. And then it kind of rolls a little bit, and then there's one large climb you can see about half the size of that first climb that leads into the finish, and that's where a lot of races are won and lost here in the Whistler Olympic Park. You can see it's just another gorgeous day. A little bit overcast, but man, like sun peeking through from time to time, snow in the trees. It's just a winter wonderland up here. A little look at Team Norway there, and one of our Slovenian athletes getting ready to start. Again, this event is Junior World and U23 Nordic World Championships. Great event and a fantastic legacy event to put on here at the Whistler Olympic Park. All right, we're gonna have the start list in our screen here in a second. We'll take a look at how these teams are stacked up as we get ready for our first athletes here in a few minutes. And there you go.
So the order of the start list is based off of the results from the ski jumping. So obviously Norway is in first place, followed by Austria, Germany, and the USA. Then Czechia, Italy, Slovenia, and Poland. We have an incredibly tight group out of the gates with Norway, Austria, and Germany. And then the USA leads the chase group, which includes Czechia and Slovenia. At this point, I'd say Poland, they're kind of on their own. They're a little bit further back. However, this is going to be a phenomenal race.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Polish team does have some very strong skiers. We've seen them. So they may try to make contact. Again, I think, as you said, the setup here is we've got 3 teams all within 16 seconds to lead us off, and then another 4 teams a minute back, about 14 seconds separating those 4 teams from the United States, Czechia, Italy, and Slovenia, and then Poland about a minute behind that group. So we're gonna have 3 distinct groups on course, but you'll see in Nordic Combined, folks, the exciting part is that these athletes do 2 sports. So there are some stronger cross-country skiers and some not so strong cross-country skiers, and how that will set up during this race as these athletes change, you know, from teammate to teammate. It's gonna be really exciting. Little shout out from our Slovenian athlete here. Slovenia is going to be hosting the Senior Nordic World Championships, or the full show here in Planica in just under a month. Very, very beautiful venue they have there in Planica. And there's our first skier from Norway. That's Jens Dahlside Vommel. He was one of the top athletes. There's Evan Nichols from the United States. I love the relay paint job, face paint. Shows some good confidence coming into the race this afternoon. He just coming off a gold medal at the World University Games in Lake Placid just a couple weeks ago. There's number 5, one of our Czech athletes. Here's Evan Nichols. Oh, gosh. He's obviously got a little pep in his step as he looks to go out and take a bite out of that 1-minute head start that Norway has in hand over the United States right now. You know, so Max, you can probably recall, I mean, waxing is really, really important, and especially here in Whistler, where you do have a mix of new snow with some of the snow from a couple days ago. You know, tell us about what you think these teams have been up to all during the break here between events.
Well, for starters, I don't think any wax tech had a good sleep last night because there was fresh snow, which changes things significantly. Yeah, I mean, there's a phenomenal amount of work that goes into the actual wax and which type of ski the athlete's going to use for the race today, especially on a shorter race like this. So you're not only looking at the wax, you're looking at the stiffness of the ski, you're looking at the structure of the ski. There's a lot going on. So I'm sure with this, I'm sure with this group, yeah.
Well, I hear you. All right, welcome back to day 5 here in Canada for the 2023 FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships. We've just had our first competition on the ski jumping side of the venue for the men's Nordic Combined team event. I'm Billy DeMung, and I'm here with my co-host Max Thompson, Canadian Olympian Nordic Combined. And Max, we had a really good start on the jump hill this morning. Tell us about what you saw.
Yeah, first of all, I'll set the stage that I'm here with my co-host, Billy DeMong, who is the 2010 Olympic gold medalist in the men's Nordic Combined event. So it is an honor and a privilege to be hosting with Billy. Yeah, we saw a phenomenal ski jumping event this morning. Very competitive group, a lot of jumps between that 95 and 102 meter mark, which set the stage for a very tight cross-country race, which I cannot wait to see.
All right, the weather this afternoon, just under 0. Feels like a little bit colder, but it's gorgeous out. I was just out for a ski at lunch. Almost no wind. We saw it on the hill. It was very fair at the jumps. It's not going to play a factor this afternoon. And I think the snow is going to hold off. You can see the mountains peaking and the sun trying to peek through here. Just another gorgeous day in the Callahan Valley.
Yeah. Hey, so Billy, question for you. So when was the last time you were here?
The last time I was here was February 25th, 2010. So we had the Large Hill Individual Nordic Combined event, which I was able to win with my best friend and teammate Johnny Spillane, hot on my heels for the silver medal. And we left here for a press conference after the race, and the first time I've been back was when you and I walked in yesterday. And here we go. We've got the team's procession into the stadium right now. Our first athlete from Norway, Jens Dalside Vamo. And then it looks like we've got Evan Nichols from the United States on the screen.
I'm always curious to see who the teams decide to race in which order.
Yeah, you can see it looks like Norway is going to anchor with Andreas Ottesen. Austria chose to anchor with Severin Ritter. Germany with Tristan Sommerfeld, and the United States of America with Nicholas Malasinski. Now, I think those are really, we've got 3 teams all together within 16 seconds out of the start. They're really thinking about each other right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how much thought they put into those other 4 nations that are starting about a minute behind Team Norway with the United States, Czechia, Italy, and Slovenia.
Yeah, so Billy, does the USA have their fastest skiers in order, or is their strategy to gain in that lead group?
So I think their strategy is to ski a fairly typical relay leg. If you look, they've got their second strongest skier historically, Evan Nichols, leading off, trying to close ground. Their second skier to go is going to be Carter Brubaker of Alaska, Caleb Zuckerman, who's really the youngest skier on the squad, the most untested. So most of the teams are kind of selecting a similar lineup. That means that they're going to try to start hard, hang on in the middle of the race, and then close hard. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, at what points we see the time gaps changing. You can see the course profile here, Max. Again, we've got a pretty big climb. We've got a height difference on this course of 34 meters, a maximum climb of 33 meters. So you can see that first hill right out of the start. You lose a little altitude from the start line and then immediately go up in 33 meters straight up. Total climb on course, I think was about 75 meters lap. So really, this is it's a challenging course. You've got a big climb. It's usually a deciding final climb as you enter the stadium. And here we go. We've got number 1 right ripping ready to go. Jens Dalside Vamo of Norway. And he's going to have 16 seconds in hand before he gets, before we see our first Austrian and German skiers. Germany sending out Richard Stenzel, and Austria sending out Kilian Gudel to chase Jens Dalside right out of the start and try to make up that 16-second gap. And then we'll see Evan Nichols of the United States of America start at 1 minute, leading that group of 4 nations with the Czech, Italy, and Slovenia all working together to try to close this down and fight for these medals today.
Yeah, so Billy, it's probably safe to assume that Norway, Austria, and Germany will end up as a pack. They're so close together that that's inevitable.
A fierce start there from the Norwegian.
If the USA, Czechia, Italy, and Slovenia have a chance, how much time do you think they have to gain in this first lap or the first 2 laps?
You know, I think, honestly, we won't really need to see massive time changes, but if they're just consistently catching up, you can see Germany and Austria taking the course right now. 16 seconds again. The 2 nations out together will be working together to try to close the gap to Norway. You know, I think it needs to be consistent. That usually shows that the skis are running well, that the team itself is skiing well. Again, some of the hardest part about the junior worlds is that you're seeing a lot of 17 to 19-year-old athletes. They don't have a lot of racing experience, at least on paper. And so for us announcers, we've gleaned what we can find on the internet, but it's going to be interesting to see because they're so young. There's not a lot out there. And in addition, they could have the day of their lives and be as good as anybody in the world today, as Evan Nichols from the United States takes to the course. Again, that gap 1 minute, and you can see behind him 1, 2, and then right now we're going to see another nation go. That pack of 4 looking to make up that minute gap to the podium fight.
And that's Czechia and Italy and Slovenia that all took off. So
exactly. So Jan Simic from Czech in bib number 5, Stefano Radovan from Italy, bib number 6, and Urban Zacic from Slovenia will round out that group. You can see Slovenia was about 4 seconds behind Italy. Not quite in that group yet, but will be looking to work their way into that second group of 4 nations. Here comes the leaders on course, Norway's Jens Dalside Vama.
So just so you're all aware too, all these athletes are skiing 5 kilometers. It's a 2.5 kilometer loop. So they'll all complete 2 laps and then they take off with their teammate. So the total race distance is 20 kilometers, and we do have the top 7 nations all within 1 minute and 14 seconds. So,
all right, Gudel and Stenzel, Austria and Germany together, 17.4 and 18.2 seconds down respectively. That means they've lost about a second up that first climb. That may mean nothing, but obviously Jens is from Norway is off to a gripping start. We saw him really just charge out of the start gate. So, you know, again, as these time checks come in, we're going to get a better idea of, is he going fast enough to ski away? Is he going out so fast that they're actually going to close some ground toward the end of this leg? And as you said, Max, 2 very challenging laps, and oftentimes we don't know a lot till we get into at least the second lap for each athlete.
Yeah, a lot of information to come. So Billy, you have a lot of experience in team events. I believe you competed in the 2002, 2006, and 2010 with the U.S. team. Were you 2014 and 98 as well?
Yep, 2014 too. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Tons of experience. There goes our Slovenian athlete over the top of that first big climb. All right, and here we go. 3 teams together. USA in blue on the left of your screen, right next to the Czech team, and the team from Italy leading a hard charge right now. It'll be interesting to get a time check on them soon.
From the same way they left.
Beautiful day here in the Callahan Valley. Absolutely fantastic cross-country skiing. A little new snow overnight, and that, as you talked about earlier, Max, the wax game here with this new snow, obviously very challenging. Looks like Jens is, oh, sorry, this is our athlete from Poland. This is Andrzej Waleczek. He's working his way over the top of the hill. He started at 2 minutes and 7 seconds down. And here is our leader on course, Jens Vama from Norway. Still looking very, very strong, charging, trying to increase that 16-second lead over Austria and Germany.
And Billy, that's a hard thing to do when you're out in front, to actually increase your lead. That's very impressive in my mind.
Absolutely. You know, I could say from experience, you often feel hunted when you're out in front. You got nobody to chase, and yet you feel like you're being chased down. And as you can see, the last time check, they had lost a second over the top, but now, after 1 downhill and some more skiing, we have Austria and Germany now just 11 and 12 seconds, so they're making up time. And here's our first time check from the second chase group. We've got Italy at 41 seconds, closing 20 seconds on Norway already in this early on, less than 2.5 kilometers into this 20K event. Looks like USA, Evan Nichols came through the time split, second in that group. That's a smart position for the young American. He can take the energy from the Italian and use his on the second lap of this event, or second lap of his leg, sorry. And here we go, Jens Dahlside-Vama just flawlessly skiing up this big climb into the finish area where he'll go through, ring the bell for his second lap. Again, this is a long event for Nordic Combined. Typically, these combined athletes skiing 10 kilometers as individuals. So for them to ski 5 is a short race for them, a little bit more challenging because you have to go harder from the gate. And also, cumulatively, 20 kilometers much longer than the typical 10.
Yeah, and back in our day, we used to race 15. That's not a thing anymore, but I always loved those longer races.
I would lick my chops to have the opportunity to race 15K again, Max. That was my game. Here we go, bib number 1 into the stadium, around the final bend. Austria and Germany looks to be very close. We'll try to get another time split as they come through the lap here.
Billy, the reason I brought up your experience a while ago is, what did it mean to you when your teammate came around and he made a big gain? Like, so you're putting yourself in the position of the Americans, and they're roughly 40 seconds back now, and they started a minute 10 or a minute 15 back. So what does that mean to you when you realize your teammate gained 30 seconds on the leader?
Yeah, it's huge confidence. It means your skis are running well, and especially, you know, it just builds, each teammate building on the next as you make up time. And then there you go. There's the time split. You can see Austria and Germany working together, now narrowing that lead from 16 seconds down to 11 now, with half of the first 5K leg down. Now, did Jens Vama, did he go out a little hard, or is he just saving it to hammer this second lap?
I guess on the flip side too, what's it feel like? And we haven't seen a switch yet, like a transition from an athlete to another athlete. But you know, when you have a lead and when you get tagged off and your lead is less than it used to be, is that tough mentally?
Yeah, I mean, I think that also plays a role. Again, this is a game of small differences on the jump hill, on the cross-country skis. Every one of these athletes is making minute adjustments, both physically and mentally. So I think, you know, if you can get some confidence from your teammate making up some ground, you use that to fuel your fire. If they lose some ground, you try to ignore it. You can see now Italy down to 36 seconds leading that group. And now it's just 2. Italy and the U.S.
And the Americans
36
are in that
seconds.
Group.
So that rounds out the top 5. Looks like Czech has fallen off the pace. They're at 52 seconds. So they continue to make up ground on the leaders. However, they have a pretty good separation now from the 4th and 5th place with Team USA and the Czech Republic. Or sorry, from the Italians and Team USA. All right. Our leader back over the top of the course, Jens Kama. We should be seeing somebody here soon, but you can see just another beautiful day for a ski here in these amazing woods of the Callahan Valley.
Billy, I think we couldn't describe enough how beautiful this is, how nice and narrated it is. It's unreal. Based on the reaction of that coach we're seeing, yeah, here we go. Boy, they've caught him. They've caught him.
Huge push on the final big time up the big climb out of the stadium. Austria about to make contact with Norway. This will become a 3-team race at this point. And again, I don't know that they're looking back yet. Right now, they're just Norway trying to hold on to a lead, Austria and Germany trying to close a gap, probably unaware of how hard the US and Italy are charging right now to also make this a 5-team race.
This will be a very interesting race. I cannot wait for about the 3rd or 4th leg of it.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about relays. Every individual plays a role in their team and also in how this race unfolds. And so if we run into a situation where one of the teams has put a stronger skier in the 2nd or 3rd leg, they're going to try to break this thing up early. But right now, 3 teams all together, 1 climb separating them from that first tag to their teammates.
So, Billy, I can understand a strong skier gaining ground. Holy moly, we're 20 and 21 seconds back.
You can see the American and Italian making their way out onto the final arm of the course before they will loop back up the big hill into the stadium. But you're right, Max. 20 seconds now just separating the top 5 teams. This is going to be a horse race.
So, Billy, when you're trying to explain how someone gained 50 seconds in, what's it been, 4.5 kilometers? How impressive is that?
That's a really impressive amount of time. That is not something I expected to see in this first leg. Obviously, Stefano Radovan and Evan Nichols absolutely doing a fantastic job of getting their teams into the fight for the podium today. It's going to be really interesting. Germany and Austria also put on a big push to make up the 16 seconds for them to regain contact with Norway. And so it's going to be interesting. We've got one big climb into the finish, and like we talked about, it's a decisive climb. It's oftentimes where medals are won and lost. These teams are going to be trying to tag off their teammate in the best position possible. So we're certainly going to see them leaving everything here as they come up the final climb into the stadium here in just a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see now Austria has taken the lead. We've got Norway and Germany together.
And at this point, the lead's irrelevant. We're looking at just, you know, the group that's in contention to compete.
This is a bold move by Kilian Gudel from Austria. He's not only made up 16 seconds to make contact with Norway, he's saying that's not enough. I want to give my team a lead going onto this second leg. And Germany responding. These two teams pushing so hard up this final climb. And that climb doesn't end at the top of the screen, folks. It turns a corner and continues to drag on. Here's the American and the Italian racers. They're side by side. Evan Nichols making the pass. These two are gassing it up the climb. And again, they're down to 15 seconds.
I was going to ask you, do you think the lead group knows? Like now they're aware that they're being hunted down? Because that was an incredibly quick climb for, you know, for a top 3 group in the first leg.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, they have to be aware. They have to be aware. This is going to be their job now to keep the gap over Team America and Team Italy. And the German athlete, that's Richard Stenzel. He's made a gap as he descends into the stadium for the tag. He's trying to give his teammate a little breathing room so they can dictate this race from the front. It's a bold move by the German athlete.
The one thing I always loved about 5Ks is that you could just lay it out. Especially that last kilometer, like you have energy. It's basically how fast can you go. And this is exactly what that looks like. They are just laying it all on the line. But there's still 15 kilometers this race left, so I'm so excited for the next 3 legs.
Well, it looks like Stenzel took a flyer, but he's gotten reeled in again. Here comes the Austrian, Kilian Gudel. He is taking the lead. He's going to tag Austria off in the lead. He's tagging his teammate Paul Walscher here. Paul, we saw having one of the longest jumps of the morning, and he's now going to be skiing the second leg for Austria. Looks like Austria and Germany coming in side by side. Norway right there. 3 fresh athletes, 3 fresh horses now. You can just see the speed change as they take off onto this first of their 2.5K laps. Austria will drive, Paul Walscher driving the bus right now as they head up the hill. And it looks like that move from the 3 leading teams opened that gap up just a little bit again. Evan Nichols tagging in 4th place to his teammate. That's Carter Brubaker from Alaska. Carter, a very strong cross-country skier, a veteran of Continental Cups in Europe, and has been training actually in Norway the last couple years on his own with some other American teammates. So that gap did open back up to about 25 seconds when, you know, at the closest it was 15. So they made up a huge amount of time, 45 seconds. They lost a little bit at the end, but that bodes really, really well for what the American and Italian teams can continue to do throughout this relay. They've got obviously good skis.
Oh, what happened here?
I'm not sure if we're looking at that is okay. So that's the athlete from Italy. That is Stefano Radovan. He must just have given everything he had. He's just laying and reminiscing about the race and probably just getting ready to cheer on his team as they try to get into this medal fight here. All right, and here's our leaders again. We've got Norway, Austria, and Germany. Looks like Paul Walscher from Austria continuing to set the tempo for this first of 2 laps for the second leg.
I gotta say, Billy, I'm very impressed with the pace of this race. These athletes are going hard.
Yeah, Paul Walscher is gonna be the first one through our split here in a second, potentially. His name's up on the screen. That was Pepe Schula. That was tagged by Richard Stenzel from Germany. Pepe right now in second, right behind Paul. And Eider Johanstrom from Norway just sitting back there, biding his time.
27 seconds back now for the chase group for the podium.
But separating, U.S. is separating themselves from Italy, so.
And that's tough though. Now he's on his own.
It is, and you know, this is an interesting game because you have skiers of different abilities and different legs stacking up against each other. So, you know, for Carter right now, he might just be feeling good enough that he's better to go it alone.
So walk me through that in your head. When you make that mental decision just to flip the switch and go for it, it is a gamble.
Yeah, you know, you're right. At some point, you only have so many bullets in the gun, so to speak, Max, and you make that decision, I'm going to go. Or in this case, you know, if the Italian wasn't keeping up, Carter just had to go it alone. So now he's got to settle into his pace. He's got to ski the strongest leg he can to try to keep that time gap as low as possible so that he can give Caleb and Nicholas the best chance possible.
No, 100%. I've been in that same situation, actually, where I've literally had conversations during a race being like, hey, are you able to do it? And the guy's like, no. You're like, all right, I'm going solo.
Yep. Yep. I, as a veteran of over 500 ski and bike races, have made mistakes and made good decisions. But, you know, in this case, these athletes are very young. They've got to test themselves because, I mean, ultimately, 4th, 1st, or 8th, this is a learning experience as much as it is an opportunity for glory. Here's number 8 from Poland. This is, that was Jarzabek Kasper. He's skiing all alone, but the Polish team seems to be doing a good job. It'll be interesting to get a time check on them. Here's our leaders again. Paul, looks like Pepe Schula from Germany now setting the tempo. This is that final climb before they descend into the stadium to start their second lap.
Your boy Carter from Alaska has closed that gap big time again, down to 23 seconds.
Yep, so he's picked up about 4 seconds. Again, that's on the descent, so that means the American skis are running really well today in Whistler. I'm not sure if there's a little black book that says what we waxed with 13 years ago or not, but...
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
But yes, very, very, it shows that Carter is indeed skiing alone. He's closing time on the leaders. You know, his job right now is to try to keep that gap as small as possible.
So you mentioned Carter's from Alaska. How does that fit in? Like, U.S. is a very big country. How does the Alaskan program fit in with what you guys do? Because you're primarily based out of Park City, Utah, Steamboat, Colorado, and Lake Placid, New York, correct?
Yeah, but the good news for the United States is we have 30 clubs that are operating from New Hampshire to Alaska. And Alaska is a real success story because the Carl Ide ski jumping facility was basically defunct early in the 2000s. And a couple of local parents and volunteers put together a fundraising campaign and were able to rebuild that venue, and it's turned into one of the biggest clubs in America. They're now pumping out athletes in ski jumping and Nordic combined, men and women, and really starting to take positions on the national team. And you can see Carter is skiing a great leg for the Flying, I believe it's called the Flying Eagles from Anchorage, but...
Is Zach Hamill still coaching that program?
Zach Hamill is indeed coaching that program.
Cool.
Yep. You can see now Paul Walscher moving back into the lead for Team Austria. Wants to keep this pace high. He does not want any competition more than he has with him already. So they're going to try to make sure that Carter does not close that gap any further. You can see this is not them playing games yet. They're the second leg. Their job is not to try to be ready for a sprint finish. It's to keep the time gaps open to the rest of the field, as well as try to separate themselves if possible. So as they go out into the second lap, it's going to be interesting to see if any of these athletes from Austria, Norway, and Germany decide to try to make a go of it alone, to your point, Max.
Yeah, the most curious thing for this lap is what the Americans do.
Well, you can see, Carter's on a time trial now. He doesn't have anybody around him. He needs to just continue to ski the best time trial pace that he can till he gets the tag to Caleb Zuckerman.
I gotta say, Billy, this is a fun race to watch.
Oh, absolutely. You can see Carter just very stoic, charging. I love how high he gets his hips. He's really carrying his speed well, using his skis. And again, like, skiing isn't running. This isn't just how fast you can ski, how hard you can ski. It's how you can, like, use the momentum and use the free feel of the ski to get around the course the fastest. So it's a little bit more dynamic than some of the more traditional summer endurance events.
Just out of curiosity, Billy, what was your favorite, from a technical perspective, your favorite course in the World Cup back when we used to ski?
Well, this one, of course.
Oh.
I like any course that has big hills, Max.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a look back at some of our other teams. That was our Czech and Slovenian teams. They're currently in 5th and 6th right now. Looks like Carter is go it alone. I mean, it's keeping that gap pretty minimal. 24 seconds at the last check at the lap to the 3 leading teams.
And it looks like
like
he had it down to 21. So.
And that was another team coming in and just behind in our camper
team
there.
5.
That was team 6.
Czechia.
No, that was Italy still.
Oh, was that
was
Italy?
Stefano. Yep. Or sorry, Manuel Senoner. Got it, Senoner. Manuel had a great jump this morning. He looks to be closing that gap back to the United States right now. And here we have the teams from Czech and Slovenia coming through. They're going out on their last lap for the second leg here. And our leaders are off the climb and onto the descent. We talked about this, or I heard this on the cross-country streams. There's some very, very hard downhills here. And even though, you know, it is a bit of an alpine test, it's also a test of the power in the legs to hold yourself stable as you go through those corners at speeds approaching 40, 50 kilometers an hour.
Well, the thing is, too, is that on some courses, downhill's a rest. On this course, it's not a rest. It's just as tiring going down as going up.
Exactly. Yeah, you could see, I mean, like, as the skating technique, as you skate uphill, you're pushing, building lactic acid. Same thing as Carter rounds this corner. He's pushing. He's basically skating to the inside of the corner.
Oh, no,
it's a huge load on the legs. And Carter really working this flat, too. You can see, like, he is just time trialing right now, which is exactly his job, and he's doing a great one.
Yeah, if he can keep the USA within, I'd say even within half a minute, they have a chance.
Absolutely. Again, Caleb Zuckerman, just 17 years old, of the Fort Sayre Ski Club, really coming up fast. He's the consummate professional. It's been great to watch him develop. He'll be going 3rd for the American team. So we'll see what Carter's able to do here. Can he have closed that? He started with 25 seconds down to the 3 leading teams. He's keeping it right around 24.
One thing I do want to mention, I don't want to discount, like, the Poles right now who are having a fantastic race. I mean, they were 2 minutes out. If they maintain that time, that's super impressive.
Absolutely. It's so hard to be alone, especially behind. And it looks like Casper just really keeping a time trial effort going. There are teams that will come back. You know, he may be able to pick one up here and move them into 7th or 6th place toward the end of this race. Toward the end of this leg, I should say. And here comes Paul Walscher, leading for Austria again.
This is such a good race, Billy. Such a good race. I'm dying to see what the split is for the U.S. team.
All together, 3 teams, Austria, Norway, Germany, taking this final climb. If there was a chance for one of them to separate, it's going to be in the next 5 to 10 seconds as they go over the midpoint of this hill.
33.8, they drop back, and Italy's gained on the USA.
Well, Carter doing a great job skiing all alone. Does not seem like anybody has started to really push toward the end here. So we're going to see some fireworks, I predict, right in a minute here as they come into the stadium. So somebody's going to try to tag their teammate with a little bit of an advantage to go on to the 3rd leg here. Paul Walscher still setting tempo. And here they go.
Yeah.
It looks like Eider Johan. He kind of put a dig in, but Walscher responded and shut it down. He's determined to just maintain the lead. I think when you've been in the lead, there's not as much you can do. So Paul just trying to control this right now to be able to pass off to his teammate in contact with Norway and Germany.
Yeah, I don't have much experience skiing with the lead.
All right, rounding the final downhill turn here. Paul Walscher continues to lead, set the pace. This is actually kind of good for the teams that are chasing because nobody's really
pushing. Like, no, for sure.
Nobody's exploded to try to finish this off. So they're just going to ski, good tempo in, tag their teammates, finish off their job.
I'll bet you the last time we saw the split with the U.S. team was like 32 seconds. I bet you it sounded like 26.
I don't want to bet you, but I would like that. And here we go. Germany looks like The German athlete right now, Pepe Schula, has decided to at least tag his teammate in first. He comes in. That's Benedikt Grobert. He's ready to take the tag and lead onto this third of 4 legs. So this is the halfway point in the race, folks. We're at 24 minutes and 46 seconds for the tag for Team Germany. Austria and Norway within a second. And so again, we're gonna be right on about 50 minutes total for race time today. That's really quick.
So Billy, you mentioned, looked like the US team skis were running fast in the first leg. Do teams make adjustments during the actual race?
Absolutely, and look at this. Italy has reeled in Team USA. The Italian skier coming from behind, made up 6 seconds since the last split, has passed Carter Brubaker. Carter rounding the last corner into the tag zone here. So Italy and USA basically back together, but Italy with a slight advantage as they start this third of 4 legs here. Again, 10 kilometers into a 20-kilometer relay event.
So, Billy, wouldn't it make more sense for them to work together? They passed each other twice during that last leg, right?
Well, absolutely, but on the flip side, you got to remember, these athletes are finishing off. They're going to leave it all out there, right? So the Italian probably just had a little bit left in the tank and just used it up. So Carter was time trialing alone that whole time. He did a great job as a young skier to kind of hold that gap to the leaders, but again, the Italian, when he did make up that gap, we didn't see it. Maybe he drafted for a second, but he had the energy to go. Looks like Caleb Zuckerman, absolutely no problem to catch back up to Italy, shut down that gap. Again, this young 17-year-old from Vermont, or from New Hampshire, really been developing rapidly. Been a lot of fun to watch, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in this 5-kilometer race here at the 2023 FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Championships. Again, you know, this is a U20 event for Nordic Combined today. He's very, very young and up against some pretty experienced Continental Cup and World Cup skiers here. And here we go, our leaders again, over the top of the climb. Austria determined to set the pace today. Samuel Lev leading, Benedikt Grobert of Germany, and Torje Seljeset of Norway. Torje giving that great interview from the ski jumps earlier today, talking about just what a great place this is to ski, what a great jumping competition Norway had, and how they were going to be focused on how to win this race. So obviously Norway's still very tightly in the hunt. You can see Germany looks like they're taking the lead on an inside pass on the downhill. Norway seems to be content right now just to relax. Terje just enjoying the ride. You can see he's standing up, arms down. That's a good relaxed position. That means Terje is feeling good, and my guess is he's going to save his energy. Maybe we'll see a little show at the end of this third leg.
Well, and you said it before, if you're skiing in the second or third leg, there's only so much you can do, because at the end of the day, you're handing it off to the fourth person. Yep.
Well, right now the job is to make sure that your team stays in the best position possible. So here comes Team 5.
That's Czechia.
Oh, so all right, so Czech and Slovenia now skiing together. They went out of the gates hot for their third leg. Again, Caleb Zuckerman now in the lead, just in front of the Italians. So he's made up that gap. Looks like Brian Venturini is the Italian athlete right now, trying to hang on to Caleb Zuckerman. And I think, Max, to your point at the beginning, they are working together now.
Yeah. So, Billy, as an American, what would a potential podium mean for Nordic Combined for the Team USA?
It would be a really, really good step for them. You know, we've not had a lot of success since the games in Vancouver. We had a few World Championship medals and World Cup podiums, but we're really changing guards here. We've got a really good World Cup team. They're just starting to be in the top 30 scoring points with Ben Loomis, Steven Schumann, Jared Shoemate, and Nicholas Malasinski, who's here at the World Juniors, is really leading this younger group as they look to push the older athletes from the United States. So I think a medal here really just means that the development is on track, that they're on their way to ascending to be one of the world's best teams again. You can see now Caleb Zuckerman, 45 seconds, so losing a little bit of time. Again, to be expected, you know, he had to make up some time on Italy, but he is very young. This is the highest level race he's ever competed in. You can see now Austria again leading up this final climb on lap 1 of the third leg. Well, as we look right now, we've got our three top teams, Austria, Germany, and Norway, after jumping, making their way up the final climb of lap 1 of the third leg of this relay. Samuel Lev setting tempo. We've got Benedikt Grobert just sitting on him, and Toria Siljeset of Norway just cruising in third right now. As they make their way over the top of this climb, they're going to descend into the lap lane. This is the first of their 2 laps for these 3 athletes. And I believe we have our field reporter, Tom, in the stadium with Nordic Combined. Oh, it's not yet. We are on our way into the stadium right now with our 3 top teams. Again, Austria really seems to be dictating the pace today. Every one of their athletes has been content to just lead the race, but it's been working for them. You can see the integrity of the 3 teams all together. I really like how the Norwegian skiing, though, just tall. He's not using any unnecessary energy. When he's standing up like that with his arms down, it means he's just getting a free ride. There is drafting in cross-country skiing, just like there is in cycling.
I was going to say, Billy, he looks like he's on vacation right now relative to the rest of the field. So I could definitely see him making a move and seeing the Norwegians leading going into the last lap, or being in a good spot.
Well, and this is the leg to try to make separation to give to those anchor legs. And Toria, we heard before the race started, you know, talking about how the mission for these first athletes is to just maintain contact and then try to make a move that puts Norway into the gold medal position. So right now he's very comfortable just sitting in third. It's all together. There's no stress from him.
So shortly, we do have an update coming from our field reporter, doing an interview with Nathaniel Maw. Nathaniel Maw in 2012 actually won a bronze medal at the Youth Olympics, which was technically the only time a Canadian had ever had an Olympic medal until 2022 when Matthew Sukup, Mackenzie Boyd-Close, Alexandra, and Abigail did that. So I'm curious to see.
Ski jumping, yeah, that's right. That was amazing.
That was Innsbruck 2012. So we're going to hear from Nathaniel pretty soon, who was an awesome youth ski jumper.
Here you go. You can see 4th and 5th place on course right now. That's Team USA. Caleb Zuckerman leading through on the first of, finishing the first of these 2 laps for him, with Brian Venturini of Italy on his heels right now. Caleb made up a 6-second deficit early and quickly, now leading and setting the tempo. Brian doesn't look like he's hanging on comfortably like Toria for Norway right now. He looks like he's just trying to stay with Caleb. Caleb skiing a very, very strong race. Again, only 17 years old, Caleb Zuckerman. And you asked about Alaska earlier, so, you know, Carter Brubaker coming from Alaska, Caleb coming from Fort Sayre. It's a historic ski club, but it's really been rebuilt by some of the alumni from the United States, including Joe and Mike Holland and Jeff Hastings. So really, really cool to see the growth of the sport in North America these days. And we're back to our leaders here at the top of the big climb.
You just mentioned some big names from USA ski jumping history. I heard that Steve Collins is in Vancouver this week.
He was walking around. I saw him over lunch. You can see now Germany taking over the lead onto the descent. Benedikt Grobert now leading. But again, all 3 teams all together. There was the American and Italian racers, Brian and Caleb, in hot pursuit. Here come the leaders down the big descent and into the S-curves right now.
All right, so our field reporter Tom is going live with Nathaniel Maw.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm here with Nathaniel. Nathaniel, how do you think the last bit of this race is going to shape up?
Well, you know, Tom, those leading 3 packs, the leading 3 teams right now, the way they're playing this game, I think it's the best case scenario for the Americans and Italians to have a chance to catch up. You know, they're playing very tactical and going slow at the same time. So, you know, we really have to see the Americans and the Italians work together and hopefully start to get rid of that gap. I do think we are going to see a pace change here in those leading 3. They've been, you know, that first 2.5 for them was really easy, really relaxed, and I'm suspecting one of the teams is going to start to really push the pace, put the hurt on the other groups. and maybe get a gap. I think it'll be tough as there is one more leg to go. You know, nothing's probably going to stick, and I think it is going to come down to the final hill. And you know, Bill DeMong knows that hill really well in his Olympic race. I'm sure it brings back a lot of memories for him watching this, but I think that final hill of that final lap is going to be crucial, and it's going to be the deciding factor for the podium.
If there was a team to break away before that final hill, which do you think could be in those top 3?
You really have to look at the Norwegians. You can never count them out. Their wax is always on. They are so technically and tactically smart. You know, I know that there's staff all over the field giving them splits, giving them feedback, giving them ideas as they go. They're always dangerous. You can never count them out. That being said, I mean, Germany and Austria, they're always strong skiers and they're smart as well. So, you know, I really want to look at the Norwegians. I think that's the obvious pick, but I think we might see a surprise here and see someone go early and have something stick. But at the end of the day, it's either way, we're in for a really exciting finish.
Thanks, Nathaniel.
Hey, Tom, thanks so much. And Minnie, it was great to see you on screen. You were right. Here comes Norway with Torje just tearing it up at the bottom of the big climb into the finish. So he obviously was saving energy. He's using it all right now. It looks like the Austrian athlete unable to hang on right now to Torje Siljeset of Norway, Samuel Lev and Benedikt Grobart of Germany, side by side, unable to match the pace of the Norwegian. So again, we saw Torje, he was kind of sitting back, and now he's just putting everything he has to give his teammate, Andreas Odesen, the biggest lead possible, heading out onto this last leg here. You can see him going over the top now, just jump skating, hop skating up over the top of this climb. Austria and Germany just doing damage control right now, trying to keep that time gap as low as possible.
So, Billy, how much disrespect does the camera do to that hill?
You know, it doesn't show how steep it really is and how sustained it really is. In fact, partially it's because it goes around that corner. But you can see by the athlete's technique and how hard they're pushing, that is a substantial climb all the way up. Again, it climbs like 20 meters in just a short couple hundred meters. So a very challenging climb and certainly decisive at the end of a race like this.
Yeah, I love it from a perspective of watching a race, especially we'll see it in the last lap, and I hope it means something at the end.
No doubt that hill will play a role in deciding the outcome of some of these medals. I have a feeling right now Norway is going to be going out in the lead, but Austria and Germany, it'll be interesting to see, are they able to regain contact with Norway? And if so, you know, are both teams, are they all three going to be together? Or is it going to be Norway and then a two-nation race for the silver and bronze medals? But I have no doubt there will be a couple teams together, and we're going to be able to answer that question here in just 5 short kilometers. Here we go. Torje tags Andreas Odesen of Norway. Andreas taking off. He's absolutely got to be thinking, am I going to keep this lead, or is it smarter to just kind of ski my pace if these guys catch me, save my energy for the end? Right now, Austria's Severin Rieder leading out with Tristan Sommerfeld of Germany hot on his heels. They're going to try to close this gap as quickly as possible. Regain contact with Norway, turn it back into a 3-team race, but it will come at the expense of at least one of the bullets in that gun we talked about.
Yeah, that's a good point, Billy.
It looks like the Norwegian, Andreas Odesen, content to just ski his pace up this hill. I have a feeling he's thinking, no matter what, I need to have the gas left to go up that final climb. You can see Austria and Germany, Severin, setting a very hard tempo. You can almost visually see the gap coming down.
It actually looks like he's waiting for them right now.
It looks like he's content to ski his pace. It looks like they are gassing it to catch up. Again, it's going to cost at some point, though. So it looks to me like right now Benedikt and Severin and Tristan of Austria and Germany respectfully. Oh, here we go. We've got the tag for 4th place coming in. This is Italy. And again, I had said he looked like he was struggling to stay on Caleb, but he managed to lead there. That's Brian Venturini. Managed to lead that last couple kilometers, trying to keep that time deficit as low as possible. And now the anchor legs for Italy. We've got Iacopo Bertolas and the American Nicholas Malasinski powering out for their last leg. And Nicholas, for sure, is coming off a pretty high point. He won 4 medals at the World University Games in Lake Placid just 2 weeks ago. So he's a very smart racer. At this point, he's going to be looking to ensure that Team USA gets a 4th place and potentially, if anything happens to this lead group of 3, to be in position to try to take advantage of that. You can see the American and just content right now to cruise behind the Italian. It looks like Iacopo just really setting a nice, steady, hard pace. Again, kind of like time trialing. Oh, and that's the kind of opportunity that could have happened. Had one of those teams just bobbled a little too much and gone down, it would have opened the door for other teams to get back involved in the medal potential. You can see now the German athlete taking the lead, Tristan Sommerfeld. So Austria and Germany making up that time deficit from the tag. Andreas Odison happy to just be sitting in right now. It's a 3-team race. He's saving his bullets for the end when it matters. And here comes team number 5. This is the Czech Republic, or Czechia. We've got Yuri Kohn-Valinka. He's getting the tag from Lucas Dolezal. So they've been skiing all alone for quite some time now, although they were with Slovenia. It looks like Slovenia falling off the pace a little bit. Here comes Matthias Garbisch coming in to tag his teammate onto the final leg. It'll be Matic Ladnik who's going to anchor for Slovenia right now. Again, Slovenia hosting the FIS Nordic World Championships later this month in Planica. Amazing venue. Slovenia doing an excellent job developing all of their Nordic ski programs at the same time, from ski jumping to Nordic Combined to cross country, and hosting the games at one of the finest venues in the world, on par with this one here at the Whistler Olympic Park.
Yeah, and you viewers may have noticed a lack of a Canadian team participating today. Largely, there's no facilities in Canada to support the Canadian team. So Calgary, the site from the 1988 Olympics, was the last kind of full-time venue that supported athletes. Whistler is phenomenal, but it does lack kind of the ground roots programs required to run a team. As Billy alluded to, there's 35 plus clubs in the USA. Canada's not in that same situation, so we're kind of lacking young talent. We have a great senior team right now, but there's just nothing in the pipeline as we speak. Not to say nothing, but a lot of athletes that are doing their own thing either in the USA or training in Slovenia.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to have to be on the road to train and compete. But Canada obviously showing some serious tenacity with the bronze medal in ski jumping last year in Beijing, which really should be inspiring those younger generations. And Max, you and I both know there's a lot of your friends and alumni who are involved in trying to keep the recruiting effort. So it'll be interesting to see. I know Whistler is game to have more of a grassroots program. One of the challenges is just being geographically remote from Vancouver and even a little bit out of the village of Whistler and Squamish. And now you can see the cat and mouse games here. All 3 of these lead teams are playing not me. I'm not going to be the one to spend my energy to drag the other 2 around the course. So they know they've got a huge time advantage in hand over the Italian and American teams. And so they're content to just think about the finish right now.
This is going to be a fun final kilometer to watch.
Yep, so as they make their way into the stadium right now, they're going to be mentally preparing as they do go around this final corner for what it's going to be like next time. This again, that final climb, very decisive, but you still have to carry it a long ways around this corner and across the flats to the finish line. It's about 400 meters from here to the finish when they go around this corner. So a big push still to go. Right now, everybody's just kind of cat and mousing, not wanting to put their effort in at their own expense to drag the other teams. So they're going to be pretty content to just chill out and save those bullets in the gun, so to speak. Here comes Nicholas Malasinski. Obviously, he's trying to take advantage of any opportunity that may come his way, including right now pushing and not wanting to give the Italian athlete, Iacopo, any lead. Iacopo, also a veteran of World Cup, has scored points recently in the Nordic Combined World Cup. So, again, the field here very, very strong. This is not only champions of tomorrow, but some champions from today on the world's biggest stage. You can see now the Austrian content to step back into the lead, but you can tell by his relaxed tempo, not pushing super hard, not wanting to use his energy to fuel the other team's recovery.
This is a very mature lead pack for World Juniors, I'd say. They're tactically doing the right thing.
Absolutely. All right, one last time up this huge climb. Again, it climbs 33 meters in one shot. That's a big vertical gain. A lot of energy gets used going up that climb. Nicholas Malasinski has taken about 20 seconds out of that lead group. And here we go.
Taken off.
Fireworks early.
Here we go.
Severin Reed are saying, if I'm going to lead and I'm going to go hard, you're not coming with me. But it looks like Germany and Norway responding, not willing to be shaken yet. Looks like Nicholas Malasinski also looking to have the Italian Iacopa put some effort into this. Iacopa says, all right, let's go. He's going to be leading up the final time up this big climb. Again, 45 seconds, so it was about 1:05 at the lap. So in 2.5K, Nicholas and Iacopa taking about 20 seconds back to the leaders.
But the lead pack turned it on. They're gone.
They are, but they're back to cat and mouse as they come back into our camera right now. You can see we've got Severin Reeder setting tempo, but not hard. Again, you know, he tested the other athletes. They managed to stay. He's going to take that into account. At this point, they're all sort of just feeling each other out and trying to decide what is their attribute that best suits them to finish this race off over the other two. Is it to go at the beginning of the big climb? Is it to wait till the midpoint of the big climb? Is it to wait to the last 50 meters, you know?
So Billy, I'm going to cut you off now. I'm just curious, because you won the Olympics here. What was your play?
Well, Max, I mean, I was not a sprinter, and so I really waited. I kind of kept the pace solid so nobody would come around, but about 2/3 of the way up that final climb, it was just time to go, and I gave everything I had and never looked back there. And at times, you know, was thinking somebody was right on my heels, but it was going about that like 500, 600 meters out for me. That played to my strength. If it had ended up in a 100-meter sprint, I have no doubt that Johnny Spillane would have toasted me, or the Austrian that finished bronze that day, Bernhard Gruber.
Bernhard Gruber, who's an awesome guy, actually. Cool, yeah. So it looks like the Italians and the Americans have fallen off. It looks to be no competition, so we're really posturing Germany, Austria, and Norway, who's going to be first, second, and third here.
Yep, and here you can see the Slovenian athlete coming through right now for the lap. Again, Slovenia's been on their own for a while now. This is Maciek Schladnik, skiing a nice smooth pace. He looks a little gassed, but he's just got his job now is to just get it done. And here we go. Italy and the United States coming down the last big downhill before they go out on this. There's a hidden 500 meters on the far end of the course. We're going to see our leaders coming back from that. US and Italy will get a look at Norway, Germany, and Austria. Maybe, just maybe, something can happen out of sight of our cameras, and there might be an opportunity. You never know, but we're going to be looking for our leaders to come back into frame momentarily. Again, look back at Slovenia right now, skiing an individual time trial. Lodnik is just getting it done.
So Billy, assuming nothing happens within the top three, and fourth and fifth is still Italy and the USA, does that mean something to the athletes, that fourth versus fifth place?
Absolutely. Everything counts in the results. It's always an experience, and just the experiment and experience of trying to win the fourth place is as important as winning the first place. You know, it's still tactical. And here we go. This is the last time up this big climb. It's the last climb before the finishing 400 that's flat in the stadium. Austria again leading, Germany in second, Norway comfortable in third still. Somebody's going to break this up, and it's going to be on this hill. Now, whether or not they can stick it or it comes down to a sprint finish will be yet to be determined, but I'm like itchy. I'm wondering which one of them is just going to have to go because they can't take it anymore.
My money's not on Norway right now. He looks tired.
Could be, could be. Again, we've got Severin Reeder setting the pace up onto the second part of this uphill. Again, you go around that corner, the camera view doesn't quite do it justice. Here goes Tristan Sommerfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, he saved it, and the Norwegian there to cover it.
And I was dead wrong. He ain't tired.
It looks like Severin able to match the Norwegian, but the German, Tristan Sommerfeld, absolutely gassing it. And he has opened up a big gap. That's a huge gap, and it's right on that deciding point of the final climb. He's given himself some breathing room, and this corner is tight enough that it's hard for these teams to get much out of the draft if there's some separation.
Billy, tactically, is there anything you can do now to catch him?
No, this is all up to Tristan. Can he carry this in now? Did he pull the trigger too early, or can he just stay on the gas all the way to the finish? You can see,
Mama, this is a
you can
good
see
finish.
Norway, Andreas Odesen next to Severin Rieder of Austria. It looks like they've given up. It looks like Tristan Sommerfeld of Germany pulled the trigger at the right time. He's carrying it in. Right now, the Norwegian looks to be backing off through the corner so he can gas it to the finish line, securing the silver medal from Norway. But the big story here is Germany. Tristan Sommerfeld powering down the final 100 here, bringing it home for Germany's gold medal. Huge success for Germany. Time to celebrate.
Finish.
Oh, and it looks like Andreas Odesen will secure silver, just barely sticking his foot out in front of Severin Rieder of Austria. What an amazing finish. 3 seconds at the finish line separating the top 3 teams. Just a 1/10 of a second. Norway just 1 foot ahead of the Austrian Severin Rieder. But Tristan Sommerfeld, you know, he didn't show his face much in that final leg. But man, oh, and here we go. The race for 4th place. Nicholas Malasinski. Italy's Iacopa coming around the outside. He can't cross lanes like that. I'm not sure how the jury's gonna look at that. Nicholas Malasinski just trying to do the job. Photo finish. It's saying on our screens Iacopa over Nicholas, but no doubt the jury's gonna be looking at that again.
Yeah, that's one thing, Billy. You can't cross lanes at the finish.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Right now, the big story, obviously, Tristan Sommerfeld of Germany winning the day for Team Germany with an absolutely explosive final move at the top of that final climb before the finish. He was able to carry that speed around the corner, keep that gap, and then just bring it home. And that excruciating, and I can tell you, that stadium is longer than it looks. That excruciating last 300 to 400 meters. Austria with Severin Rieder getting the bronze medal, and of course Torja Seljaset, silver medal for Norway. You could tell he was ready for the Germans' move, he just couldn't match it. And therefore, he just went into damage control in that last 300 meters, securing the silver medal for Norway. So another great day for the Norwegian team. It looks like Italy squarely taking the 4th place from the United States of America there.
Billy, that was very impressive racing, especially for U20. The maturity, the composure, that was a very good race.
And you can see the victors here, the German team, and it looks like our field reporter Tom is down there for a little post-race interview. But before we go to him, we're going to be looking now to see some of our more finishers. Here comes the Czech Republic. We've got Yuri Kohn-Valinka. Yuri skiing a nice last leg all on his own. At one point they were together with Slovenia, but Czech really opening up a gap, and Yuri doing a great job bringing in the 6th place for Czech. Yuri obviously gassed, but skiing very strong here at the end of the race. Good relay for Czech. All right, Yuri bringing it in for 6th place for Team Czech.
Such a competitive team event. That was with the Finns and the Japanese not even being here.
And there you go on our screen now. You can see the results of the top 6. Yuri coming in 3 minutes behind Tristan Sommerfeld of Germany. Here comes number 7, the Slovenian. This is Matic Ladnik of Slovenia. He's coming in for 7th right now. Again, Slovenia honestly has been more focused on ski jumping, but as they've built these venues, they've really invested in Nordic Combined and cross country. And you can see this is a young up-and-coming team from Slovenia. It's hard to put 4 Nordic Combined skiers at a junior event. It's a small sport in every country, and to have 4 good Nordic Combined skiers is a good sign for anybody's Nordic program. So great to see Slovenia, who will host the 2025 Junior World Championships, another edition of this event in the future. Great to see. And here comes Poland, team number 8. They've had to ski all alone the entire race. And this is Gregor Zmitrega. He's on his way up the final climb.
Good skier too, and that's impressive. I used to live and train in Poland, and back in my day, it was only ski jumping. They did not have a Nordic Combined program. So
you can see he's putting some pep in his step. He's aiming to just finish this off as quickly as possible. Good showing from the Polish team. Great to see that they were able to field a full team as well. There's our team from Norway, the silver medalists in this event today. They dominated on the jump hill, but some smart tactics there by Germany with Tristan Sommerfeld's late attack. Made it an interesting sprint for the podium. Hey, Max?
Oh yeah, that was a great finish, one of the best I've ever seen. Whistler has a way of doing that.
Oh, and there's our bronze medalist from Austria.
It's so cool at the junior seeing the team success. You can see the women's cross country team there, the ski jump team. They're all celebrating the success. It's awesome.
Well, I was glad to see Italy and America get into the mix there. Here comes Gregor Mitrega of Poland. He's over the top of the final climb, around this final corner and into the stadium. You got to cheer a young man like this on. He's skied this entire race all by himself. He's had a great leg. Good training for the individual.
And let's be honest, he's only a few minutes off the pace of the top teams in the country. This is not, being way back. That's between 4 jumps and 4 or 5 kilometer legs, being 3-4 minutes off.
Absolutely.
It's a very competitive team.
No, this is a very, very hard level, especially in combined. You have to be so good at ski jumping and cross-country skiing to compete at the Junior World Championships. And here come Gregor's.
Our Nordic Combined team event for the junior men completed with Polska.
Heja Polska. Good job. And a look back again, Tristan Sommerfeld with an absolutely explosive last 500 meters, just crushing on that last climb. Norway and Austria unable to match that final burst of speed from the German. What a fantastic sprint finish.
Reminds me of Bjorn Kirikaj in circa 2001. Pretty cool stuff. Very impressive athlete, very impressive race.
Absolutely.
Move them back a little bit.
Yes. Nothing but bad humor. All right, Germany in the middle.
Germany in the middle.
Norway on this side.
Norway.
Thanks.
And who came third?
And Austria.
Austria.
And a look out, folks, at the beautiful Callahan Valley. Looks like smoke, but just a beautiful layer of fog, a little sun peeking through as we get ready for our award ceremony to come here at the Whistler Olympic Park. You can see the teams lining up for pictures. There's Team Germany. They've got to be ecstatic. I think this is the first time the Germans have won a Junior World Relay medal in quite some time. So great job to the young Germans, led by Richard Stenzel. Pepe Schula skied second, Benedict Grobert third, and Tristan Sommerfeld bringing them home for victory. And there's our top 3 teams, Germany in the middle, Norway in silver on the left of your screen, and Austria on the right for the bronze medal. Congratulations to all of the athletes, but especially these 3 teams for putting on such an amazing show. Some great jumps this morning and an incredible race this afternoon.
Yeah, so looking at the final standings, for the cross-country ski time, yeah, Germany, first place, followed by Norway, Austria, Italy in 4th, USA in 5th, followed by Czechia, Slovenia, and Poland.
Yeah, again, Max, That fight for the podium separated by just 3 seconds. And at any point in the race, it was under a second. So huge tactics were played out, especially in that last lap, watching Austria, you know, really take a shot at the top of the big hill on the final lap, you know, early in the final lap. And then Germany and Norway covering that move. And then it was just on pins and needles we were waiting there for that final move from Tristan Sommerfeld of Germany.
Yeah,
so cool.
The one thing I've noticed too is that if you look at 4th and 5th, Italy and the USA, they finished 42 seconds back. They started a minute 14 back. I mean, Nordic Combined these days, you have to be right in it after ski jumping or you have no chance.
Yeah, the margins just get slimmer and slimmer. These athletes become specialized more and more, just getting so good at both sports. Incredible to see.
No, back, you know, 15, 20 years ago, you could be a strong skier and a strong cross-country skier and an okay ski jumper.
Or vice versa.
And you have to be dominant at both now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
a lot of smiles there as we await for the award ceremony to come. And a gorgeous day here in the Callahan Valley. So, you know, I have to say, Max, it's been, you can see the rings there. It's been a trip down memory lane today with you. Fantastic to see these teams battling it out. You can see a look back at Evan Nichols there. What are your takeaways from this event?
You know what? I just had so much fun watching it. Honestly, I haven't been here much since the 2010 Olympics as well. One of my fondest memories is watching you win a gold medal, because I always felt like Canada and USA were on the same team. So that kind of felt like a win for us as well. So seeing this today was awesome. Yeah, I'm very impressed with the younger generation of Nordic Combined athletes. It was so impressive. Especially, it wasn't even their athleticism, it was their tactics and how they handled that last lap. I mean, I'm sitting here with you, an Olympic champion, you know.
And there it is, look at that. That was that move by Austria, and here comes the decisive move from Team Germany. Tristan Sommerfeld just powering away. And we're gonna be back here shortly, Max, as we get ready for awards here at the Whistler Olympic Park. All right, and here we are. We're waiting for the medals ceremonies to begin. Max, absolutely fantastic event today, but we've got a few days left here. In fact, we're just getting started. This was our first event on the ski jumps, and we've got more action coming up over the last 4 days of this Junior World Championships.
Yeah, we have the women's ski jumping, the men's ski jumping, and the individual men's Nordic combined. So some phenomenal competitions, including Canada's own Alexandre Lutit, who is fresh off a World Cup win. So it's the one Canadian that we're looking to see on the podium here.
Speaking of the podium, we have our field reporter, Tom, with the winning team, bringing them to you now.
I'm here with the German team. First of all, Coming off the ski jumping, how did you feel going into this race?
I was going into the race like it's my first race into the Junior World Championship, and it was unbelievable experience. I gave my best, and now I'm so happy.
On the second leg, it looked like there's a lot of attacks. Like, what were you thinking going through there?
Yes, I think it was a tactical race, 5K tactical, and in the end I had enough power for the end, and yes, I'm really happy with this result, and I can't believe it.
On the third leg, it looked like you were in the group there. Were you ever thinking about breaking away and trying to give your the fourth leg a bit of a lead, or were you more just thinking stay with the pack and leave it for the fourth leg?
I tried to work together with Samuel Lev to keep the pace high, and then try to follow the Norwegians. That Tristan have a good position for the last 2 rounds.
And for the fourth leg, you left that very late. Was that the plan, and were you feeling good going into that sprint?
Yeah, we came into that hill, and I saw that nobody wanted to attack, and I saw my chance, took it, and it was enough to break away, and I brought it to the line.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. That was great to hear from the champions today. I really, really love the composure of Tristan there on that final leg. And I thought his team did a great job to close the gap to Norway early with Austria. And then they sort of stayed a little bit out of sight, out of mind. But as one of them shared, driving that pace, giving Tristan the best opportunity there at the end to bring it home for them. And he did a fantastic job. So, Max, it's been great to be here with you today. We're going to be going to awards next. And thanks to all of you for joining us here for this exciting Team Relay at the 2023 FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships. Beautiful day to be out here in the Callahan Valley, and you can join us back, but don't go anywhere. We've got awards coming right up. the award ceremony here for the 2023 FIS Nordic Junior World Ski Championships. This is the Nordic Combined Team Relay. We had just an awesome event today. And just amazing jumping, an incredible race. And here we are right to the awards plaza here at the Whistler Olympic Park right now for the award ceremony.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Whistler Olympic Park and to the FIS Nordic Junior U23 World Ski Championships Award Ceremony, Nordic Combined Junior Team Event Men.
Bonjour et bienvenue à la cérémonie des vainqueurs au Parc olympique de Whistler pour le championnat du monde junior U23 FIS de ski nordique pour les épreuves de combiné nordique junior par équipe chez les hommes.
The medals will be presented by
Les médailles seront remises par
Niklas Carlson, Deputy Secretary General, FIS. Accompanied by
accompagné par
Nor Laube, Chair, Black Tusk Nordic Events Society. The bronze medalists representing Austria.
la médaille de bronze représentant l'Autriche.
Kilian Gertel, Paul Walker, Samuel Lev, and Zevin Reiter. The silver medalist representing Norway.
La médaille d'argent représentant la Norvège.
Jens Dolstad Kwame, Eidar Johan Strom, Torja Siljaset, and Andreas Ottesen. The FIS Gold Medalist and 2023 FIS Junior World Champions for the Nordic Combined Team Event representing Germany.
Vos médaillés d'or et champions du monde 2023 représentant l'Allemagne.
Richard Stenzel, Pepe Schuller, Benedikt Grebert und Tristan Sommerfeld. The gifts will be presented by
Les cadeaux seront présentés par
His Excellency Andrei Rode, Ambassador for the Republic of Slovenia. Thank you, Your Excellency. In honor of our World Championship team, let's hear the national anthem of Germany.
en l'honneur de nos champions du monde, l'hymne national de l'Allemagne.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your applause for our medalists.
À nouveau, vos applaudissements pour nos médaillés.
All right, so great to see this tremendous award ceremony. I love the fact that they have the same medals for every edition of the FIS World Championships, the smaller ones for the juniors, the larger ones for the seniors. It just makes it so like timeless. And I've got a couple at home, Max. I mean, I sort of made a few of those happen, but it's been such a wonderful day here in the Callahan Valley. You can just see again the snow and the trees. We've got such a great backdrop. What a wonderful, wonderful location for these championships, and a huge tribute to the legacy of the 2010 games here at Whistler Olympic Park. It's been great to be here in the booth with you today, Max. We're going to get to some highlights here momentarily, but you know, just brings back all sorts of memories. And here we go with some highlights, Max.
Yeah, we're looking at the ski jump today that kind of kicked off the Nordic Combined team event.
Here's Nicholas Malasinski of the United States. Big jump from Nicholas. A really good way to end it for Team USA, putting them into that 4th spot. Here comes the last German skier. That was Richard Stenzel. Richard had a huge leap there. Great looking jump. And here comes the Austrian, Paul Walscher. He had one of the longest jumps of the day, 102 meters.
And the Norwegian. Yeah.
Eder Johan Strom. Yep, just a great jump for him.
It today.
You can just see that's such a flawless landing. And Team Norway with that lead out of the start. Jens doing a super good job trying to maintain that lead, but you know, Austria and Germany were quick to close that 16-second gap and make it a 3-team race for most of the event, Max.
Yeah, to be honest, the first 2 laps, it actually looked like Italy and the USA were going to close in and make it really competitive with 5 teams. But despite that not happening, just watching the 3 teams, Norway, Germany, and Austria, duke it out was awesome.
It was quite the show for sure. You can see throughout all these tags, Norway was able to get a little bit of a gap going onto the anchor leg, but it all came back together again. You can see Austria leading Germany and Norway. Austria's anchor leg there, trying to pull away, but at the end, it was Germany's Tristan Sommerfeld just absolutely blasting up that last hill, bringing it home through the stadium for Germany. Tristan's dad, Rene, must be super proud. He was a World Cup overall champion in cross-country skiing. What a great day for these young Germans, pioneering the way forward for another generation. Congratulations to all of these athletes. And Max, as you talked about before, we had just an amazing showing by the Americans. Great to show that they're on their way. And there we are. Max, talk us through those final results.
Yeah, standings, Germany obviously in first place. Awesome to see. Germany has a very strong history at the World Junior Ski Championships and the World Championships and the Olympics. Second place.
Well, coming up, Max, we've got some exciting action. This was day 5 of the FIS Nordic Junior and U23 World Ski Championships, and tomorrow we're going to have the 10-kilometer event for cross-country individual women's freestyle for juniors, as well as the men's junior 10-kilometer race. And then in the evening, we're going to be coming back to you for the ski jumping women's event, the individual event tomorrow, followed by the men's jumping. And this was a great day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here at the Whistler Olympic Park again soon.